In a lonely village tucked deep in the hills, where trees whispered secrets and the wind told old stories, there was a place called After Dark. It wasn't just a name, it was a warning. Once the clock hit 9:30 p.m., a thick fog rolled in like a ghost with unfinished business. In that village lived a boy named Derek. He was quiet, kept to himself, and never smiled much. He lived with his grandparents because his mother, Delilah, died the night she gave birth to him. Delilah was no ordinary woman. She was feared. Some called her a healer. Others said she was a witch. They whispered she made deals with the dark to get what she wanted. And when she died, the fog began, thick, grey, blinding. And every night, without fail, it came. People believed Delilah's spirit still walked through the village at night. They said, she's looking for something, or someone, and they all believed that someone was Derek. From the time he could walk, Derek was marked. Children avoided him. Adults crossed the street when they saw him. People muttered, "That's the witch's son, and he carries the curse." He would cry to his grandmother, asking why he was so hated. And she'd only say, "You're special, child. They just don't understand." But something changed on Derek's 17th birthday. That night, the fog came again, but this time it was red, like blood had been poured into the sky and spilled onto the earth. And that night, anyone who dared step outside before 5 a.m. was transformed. Their skin would wrinkle like they'd aged 50 years overnight. Their youth vanished. Fear spread faster than the fog ever could. Derek was no longer just a rumor. He became a legend of fear. At school, kids would laugh when he walked by. "Hey, demon child," they'd yell. "Go haunt someone else." But every time they mocked him, they'd wake up the next morning with deep bruises, scratch marks, bite wounds. One girl swore she was attacked by a lion in her sleep, but there were no lions in After Dark. What they didn't know was that Derek had discovered something. At night, when the fog came, he could change into a small fox. He would slip through windows, numb their skin with a cold breath, and bite them in his pain and rage, leaving marks like claws. He didn't want to hurt them, but it was the only way he knew to speak when the world refused to listen. Then came Faith. She had just moved to After Dark with her mother and 2 brothers. She was only 14, but everyone could see there was something different about her. She was soft-spoken, kind, and she had a gift. She could see things before they happened. She could heal people with simple prayers. She would walk barefoot into sick homes and leave people laughing again. She met a girl named Promise, who became her best friend. But even Promise, over time, grew jealous of the attention Faith got. One day, Promise was passing Derek's house when his grandmother stopped her and asked, "Child, what can you tell me about the one called Faith?" Out of jealousy, Promise lied. "She's not what you think. Her powers? They're not from God," she said. "She pretends to be holy, but she's just like Delilah." Derek, hiding behind the stairs, heard it all. His heart twisted in pain. First they hated him, and now they wanted to ruin the only light left in that cursed village. That night, Derek made a choice. He said to himself, "They think she's holy. Let's see if her prayers can save her." At 12:30 a.m., as the village slept, Derek turned into the fox. His tiny body slipped through the fog, past the trees, across the fields, and through Faith's window. He perched on the edge of her bed and reached out his misty paw to numb her skin. But just as he touched her, her eyes flew open. She didn't scream, she didn't run. She prayed. "I plead the blood of Jesus over my home. No weapon formed against me shall prosper." Derek froze. His body started to burn. He turned back into his human form, trembling, smoke rising from his skin. "I know who you are," Faith whispered, tears in her eyes. "And I'm not afraid of you." "I didn't choose this," Derek screamed. "They made me into this." Faith got out of bed and held his hand. Then stop hiding. Tell them the truth. The room began to shake as Derek broke down, sobbing in her arms. The noise brought the villagers running. They found Derek on his knees, crying, and Faith standing above him, praying. As dawn broke, the villagers listened in stunned silence as Derek told them everything. I didn't ask for this life. I didn't want these powers. I only wanted to belong. But every time I reached out, you beat me back with hate. Faith stepped forward. You all called me holy. But when I needed you to stand with truth, you lied about me, even my own friend. All eyes turned to Promise, who fell to her knees in shame. The fog began to lift, not just from the streets, but from their hearts. Derek was banished from the village that morning, not out of hate, but to protect them, and to protect him from what they had become. As he walked away, he turned back one last time. Faith ran to him and hugged him tightly. You are more than your pain. You are more than your past, she whispered. Forgive them, and forgive yourself. The red fog never returned. The village changed after that. People became kinder. Faith continued to heal. Promise became her helper, finally understanding that real power comes not from being praised, but from being true. And Derek? Some say he lives deep in the forest, at peace, no longer hiding. Sometimes, if you walk the fields at 9:30 p.m., a small white fox can be seen watching the village, not in anger, but in forgiveness. Moral of the story: we often fear what we don't understand, but hate doesn't destroy curses, love does. Never judge someone by where they come from or how they were born, and never let jealousy make you blind to someone else's light. Forgiveness is power, kindness is healing, and truth will always set you free. If you were touched by this story, don't forget to like, comment, and share it with someone who needs hope. And subscribe to Official SD1 for more powerful stories. Thank you for listening. Stay blessed.